Alright, guys, thanks for joining me, and welcome to Chapter 2 of the Dallas Cowboys real life scheme. We're going to be breaking down this Cowboys offense and taking a look at what we think a balanced offense is and whether or not the Cowboys deploy a balanced offense. So, what exactly is a balanced offense? There are many theories on this. General perception for the better part of my lifetime has been that a balanced offense is one that runs the ball at or around the same amount that it passes. Using that as a measuring stick, Dallas's offense prior to the roller coaster ride in Foxborough were the epitome of balance, having thrown 169 passes while attempting 163 runs through the first 4 games of the season. Those numbers are now 217 passes and 194 runs inclusive of the game with the Patriots. However, contemporary thinking has changed the way we view what a balanced offense looked like, as well it should, because offenses have drastically changed during the last 4 decades. So what does a balanced offense look like? And has Kellen Moore managed the perfect balancing act? I will walk through several criteria in search of the answers. Attacking through the air and attacking on the ground. As mentioned previously, Dallas finds plenty success on the ground and through the air, as evidenced by these stats. However, the way they are able to deploy these attacks is what really speaks to the balance of the offense. Maximizing personnel. Most important in the Dallas Cowboys offense is their ability to approach the line of scrimmage on any given play and have all 5 skill position players be viable threats to receive the rock and achieve success for that snap. In fact, given Dak's ability to scramble when required makes 6 legitimate threats the defense has to account for on any given play. Beating man coverage. Man coverage stands little to no chance versus a team with the wide receiver depth on this offense. Amari Cooper is among the league's premier route runners, and CeeDee Lamb is an upcoming stud. Factor in Michael Gallup, who is due to return to the lineup soon, and Cedric Wilson, who has played admirably well in his absence, and you quickly see how many chess pieces Coach Moore has to move around to find desirable matchups. And let's not forget, there are also 2 tight ends, Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz, who are proven week after week to be mismatches for most linebackers in the league, as well as many safeties. Manipulating zone coverage. The overwhelming vertical threat presented by Dallas's pass catchers often leads to defensive coordinators choosing safe zone coverages versus the Cowboys. Kellen Moore has shown the creativity to manipulate these zones both short, intermediate, and deep with mastery. So we've mentioned the offense's ability to stretch defenses vertically, but if we examine passes thrown by Dak, we also see that Dallas is doing a great job stretching defenses horizontally as well. With the use of traditional passes, as well as fun and creative screens, no area on the field is invulnerable to the onslaught. Play calling, winning on first down. Winning first down or staying ahead of the chains is vital to maintaining offensive balance. A team that is consistently behind the chains, facing second or third and unfavorable distances, cuts down their play calling flexibility. But staying in favorable down and distances allows the Cowboys to keep their playbook wide open more often than not. Situational offense. We'll take a look at the 4-minute offense, the 2-minute offense, and the red zone offense. The situational offense, to be honest, is very often overlooked in these conversations. But I think it is as important, if not more, than any of the other factors. Games are won and lost depending on the team's ability to identify these situations and execute accordingly. This is where I think the Cowboys offense comes up a bit short. We have seen excellent play design and on-field execution for the most part in these situations. But there is another element that is a big factor in these situations that the team seems to fumble at least once or twice every game. Clock management. From the misuse of timeouts, which has been a big factor in most games thus far, either leading into halftime or nearing the end of games, to scoring too quickly and allowing the GOAT in the first game against Tampa Bay too much time to drive the field, needing only a field goal to win it and send Dallas home with their first and to date only loss of the 2021 NFL season. Red zone. This is a sore point for Cowboys fans and has been for many years, often settling for field goals as opposed to touchdowns under former head coach Jason Garrett. It still continues to be an area of inconsistency under the new regime. We have most certainly seen an improvement and at times some creativity done and around that area. However, there are still games and instances, very much like the New England game, where the team seems to draw back into their shell and play a little bit more reserved, and unfortunately leaving some of the outcome in the hands of the officials. All told, the Cowboys offense is a very well balanced one. It attacks defenses with patience, methodically exposing areas of weakness, striking with well timed deep balls, taking full advantage of a varied arsenal of receiving options. But no offense is perfect, and the Cowboys' areas of weakness will need to be addressed as the season moves along, lest they become their downfall. Prior to the game, Coach Bill Belichick, the greatest of all time, mentioned that he sees that the Cowboys' offense is a very well thought out one and a very well planned one by Coach Kellen Moore. He sees where the run sets up the pass and the pass sets up the run, which is something that we all think about a lot and something that most offensive coordinators are going to take into consideration. But Bill mentioned something interesting. He said that they have passes that set up passes. And he's absolutely correct. When you study the film, and of course I study film of every Cowboys game, you'll see trends from one week to the next, to the next, and to the next. And you'll see how different things are being set up along the way. For instance, Cedric Wilson, he had a throw attempt against the New York Giants. That attempt actually came off of a screen pass. And it was a screen pass that the Cowboys have used a few times every game, either to running backs or to wide receivers. And it's just a screen pass, and you try to get upfield, pick up a few yards. So the Cowboys, as many coaches do, waited until they faced a division rival to throw in a wrinkle. Once they threw that screen pass and the defense committed to stopping the receiver who had the ball, Cedric Wilson threw the ball downfield to Noah Brown. The only thing that kept that from being a touchdown was that it wasn't a bad throw. Also, CeeDee Lamb was wide open on the same play. So you got two receivers in position to get very easy touchdowns. Another thing, I mentioned this in my last video. I had seen the Cowboys use this formation that resembles empty quads. It's an empty backfield with four wide receivers on one side and one on the other. They had only used it a few times prior to last night's game. I think it was two or three times versus the Giants, and it popped up in a couple games previously. So last night, going into a game against one of the greatest defensive minds that we've ever seen, the Cowboys decided to pull this thing out and let it go to work. And had it not been for that formation, we might not be talking about the 5-1 Dallas Cowboys. We might be talking about the 4-2 Dallas Cowboys. And anybody that watched the broadcast would have also noticed Tony Romo couldn't stop raving about this formation and how instrumental it was in the Cowboys' victory. They picked up a good, I think Romo estimated 150, maybe 160 yards off this play alone. It was key, and it shows that Kellen Moore is thinking ahead. It shows that Kellen Moore is instituting different wrinkles, and the offense is evolving. So I'm waiting to see what wrinkle we have with Connor McGovern in at fullback, because we have an offensive lineman playing fullback every now and again. So I'm waiting to see if there's something going on there. But more interesting, I'm waiting to see what happens with CeeDee Lamb in the backfield. We've all seen CeeDee Lamb's lined up in the backfield on at least half a dozen or so snaps so far this season. And he's run it two or three times, and then there have been a few passes. But I want to see what else is in store. Sure you do. The next video is going to feature a conversation about Dallas's personnel usage. We'll take a peek at what some other teams are doing personnel wise too, so we can get a feel for how what Dallas does relates to what the rest of the league is doing, and how we're deploying our offensive weapons, because we do have a multitude of offensive weapons. Of course, we'll also go over how all of this relates to Madden and how we'll make it usable. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until then, give them out.